Mic check. Mic check. What's going on, everybody? We're going to get started here in just a couple minutes.
Trigger? Thought there was, wasn't there?
I'm so sorry I had my mic off. Okay, you guys should be able to hear me now. Here, let me run that back real quick. Yeah. What about now? Wait, am I still? Hang on. No, you guys should be able to hear me now. Run that back. Let me know. Okay, cool. Cheers to everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Today we'll have a little quick discussion, man. Recap what's going on. A little AMA. I'm good now. Sweet. How's everybody doing? Empty Shells. Never seen your name here before. Welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about AMA. For those of you guys who saw our live or our feed on YouTube, I basically opened it up. If you guys want to talk about anything today, I'll be sort of going over what's next with Next Level Fishing TV, answering any of you guys' questions. We added finally, like for those of you guys who have been a part of our live talk show, I'm going to rename it and just call it Kayak Fishing Tonight, the Tonight Show. I'm going to be doing these kind of late in the evenings. I'm hoping to do them every Thursday. Now that I finally got everything set up here, we've added a new trophy. We've always had an empty spot right here, and finally got a chance to replace it, or not replace it, but apply an IFA. I've never won an IFA. That's my first one. I didn't win it, but I won the Big Red Fish division on it. I should have won it. Could have won it. I was one fish away from winning it. Even if it was a 15-inch fish, I would have had at least 25 inches on everybody. brought in a 58-inch redfish, but it ran off the board. The IFAs can only measure over to 40. I'm sorry, 58. I brought in a 48-inch redfish, but the boards run to 45, so only got 45 points for it. And had I at least brought in a 15-inch trout, like I did the day before during pre-fishing, it would have been wide open, man. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, man. That's basically what I said on stage. I told everybody, hey, man, look, I sort of ran a recap on the pre-fishing side, and not really a pre-fishing side. Actually, I didn't say anything about pre-fishing. All I had said, no, I did, actually. I just sort of enlightened on the fact that, you know, the north wind played an important role on everything for me when it comes down to trout. But they did hold the day before. But the day of, everything disappeared. Not the reds, but the trout did. So we're going to open this up with a really interesting question. I hope you guys enjoy the show tonight, where we talk anything kayak fishing. This is y'all's show, man. I'm just here to kind of, what's up, brother? I'm just here to kind of be the mediator. Who's in the house? Hook Texas, Texas Redfish Fanatic, Bobby T. What's going on, homie? Empty Shells. Who else is in the house? There's a few of y'all in here. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I like that. I like that. All right, so I told you guys I'd give a complicated one at that. He asked, looking into getting a pedal drive kayak. I currently have a Pescador Pro 100, aka the Tarpon 100 hole. Good observation there. I do some of everything. Bass fishing, inshore fishing, and I plan on doing some BTB with this kayak. I also shark fish and might use the kayak to run baits out as well. Right now I'm considering the Outback, Predator, or Compass. That's the Hobie Compass. For reference, I'm located in the Houston area. That's Houston, Texas. Any thoughts and opinions are appreciated on those. Thank you. Shout out to James Henderson. Man, this is always a complicated question. It's one of the best questions, and it's one of the most complicated because there's so many variables when you're talking about, like what James said. All right, he's covering 3 different bodies of water. You got Cool Calm Lake, unless you're in a geographically located where there's some high winds, and I've seen lakes get as crazy as offshore. But nonetheless, you're inshore, you're offshore, you're trying to really just find an all-around encompassing kayak. And all those kayaks are very capable. I'm going to tell you this, though. So I'm the same way. I'm like you. I'm an all-water kayak angler. I'll do inshore. I'll do offshore. I've even done bass fish. I'm not like super into it, but only because I'm just not close to it. You know what I mean? If I was close to it, well then, yeah. Which, by the way, no, I didn't get disconnected. Okay, we're good. We just had a little hiccup there. This is basically, I don't know what type of angler you are. Do you pack a lot? Are you a traditional bass fisherman that loves to take everything with you, and does that carry over into saltwater? If that's the case, I would say you definitely want to scratch. I'm not going to say definitely, but I would recommend scratching the Compass and considering the Predator or the Outback, because both kayaks have a lot of functionality as far as expanding what you're taking with you. The rail tracks are phenomenal on both kayaks. The Outback is a really good kayak, man, and they both are. I'll give you some things to think about and to consider. I'm not going to tell you to pick one or the other. Obviously, I try and be very transparent to you guys. I'm biased, right? I mean, my playground is the ACK fishing team, right? And I get a chance to pick anything that they offer. And I've always, obviously, I don't really like to hop around, because I don't think that's really needed. I just like to find a kayak, do my research, pick one, and if I'm enjoying it, which like I am, I've been on the Old Town Predator PDL now going on 3 years, 2 years, but going on 3 years, and I've paddled it in the skinniest of waters. I've taken it offshore, busted through waves with them. It's an all around good kayak. It has its limitations, just like the Compass, but there's a crazy different water. They did resolve the issue, but just pay note and pay attention to that. Give it a good water test, and if you are continually taking water despite the modification that was done, you might need to do a little bit of your own DIY or put an extra seal there, or just don't take it in chaotic situations. Always carry your bilge pump, even if I don't care if you're on a Hobie or a Predator PDL. Between the two, the Predator is definitely a lot drier. I've never actually gotten water in it. The only time I've actually gotten water in it is when I'm running lines through the hatches, which is a big no-no. I should slap myself for doing that, but I just do it. I don't like putting holes in kayaks. So just keep that in mind. Now, I think where the biggest difference is going to be, the deciding factor, is going to be if you play with marsh or super skinny waters, redfish, trout, flounder, black drum, if you're wanting to drift flats. There is a difference between a pedal drive and a Mirage system. There's give and takes on both. One of the advantages that the Outback has, or the Mirage drive has, that the pedal drive does not have, is the fact that you can flutter. So that gives you a little bit more of an edge into using your drive in a little bit of skinnier waters, not by much. We're talking about the difference of maybe half a foot. But that might be enough for you to invest towards a Hobie direction. But out straight, you cannot come out if they're already banging on the sides. So you can get those fins stuck in mud if you're trying to pull a drive out in your too shallow water. So those are two things that I would say to consider. But both they do just as equal offshore as far as performance. You'll probably save a little bit more money with the Predator PDL in the sense that you get instant reverse, you get a little bit more maneuverability. You got to spend a little bit more to get those functionalities in Hobie. So, $2,400, $2,500 versus maybe about $3,000. Let's see what we got going on here. Planning on, let me see here. Let me catch up on this. Long-time listener, I read all that. Enjoying your show. I appreciate that, Texas. Robert Moore, what's up, brother? I got your message, by the way, Robert. I've just been so busy. I will give you a ring here later on today, or message you. Empty Shells says, planning a yak trip with the boys in November. How do you plan a trip with so many variables, weather, wind, money, beer of choice, etc.? So, let me show you guys something. Now that we've got this new little picture-in-picture screen. Let's see here. The best thing that you guys need to consider is understanding the weather, which we can never understand it, right? Whoa. But we can get a little bit of a jump on it and sort of realize what we're looking at. I'm going to show you guys an example of something. So, okay. Let me move this screen out. And I'm going to move this one in. So this is Windfinder. This is an app that you can get both on your phone and obviously on your desktop, as you guys are seeing right here. This is what I use to predict the weather. This is what as a base, right? I mean, the weather can change on a dime, especially if you're planning on fishing down here in Corpus. We are one of the most windiest cities in the nation. So things can change rather rapidly. But, we do get our 2, 3, up to a week and a half of just calm sub 10 mile an hour days. So the way Windfinder works is once you zoom out, you can zoom out on your location or you can zoom in. And I hope you guys can see this good. Once you do that, it lays these little live beacons and buoys. And you want to get close to a spot where you're going to fish. So, like, for instance, all of us offshore guys, let's just use this point right here as a reference. And you go to forecast. And this is what I use as a base. Now, you definitely want to change it to miles per hour or feet, whatever metrics you're used to reading. I've got all mine in to how I like them. So right here is Thursday, top left and right, and Friday. And all I'm looking for is just the pattern of winds. Your tops are your lows, and your bottoms are your gusts. Obviously, it's all categorized. And again, this is Windfinder app. Obviously we can see here Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday we're getting basically almost no wind on Friday in the afternoon or at 7. This is how I plan my trips, and this will go as far out as almost the next week. But a good gauge, man, is never to really get sold. If you're already looking right here for next Friday, oh, dude, it's clear. Let's do it. You start planning. Never be sold on it until about 2 days before. So definitely keep an eye on it because fronts can move in quicker than anticipated, or they can slow down, which shifts everything. That means that you might get a day early of that calm wind, or you might get a day late of that calm wind, or that window that you're hitting. That's what I use. That's where I start my planning. That's where I start my trips. And you can go back to these maps. This is just offshore, right? But this dots the entire nation, coast to coast, East Coast, West Coast, even up here in lakes. Gives you honestly, it gives you the entire globe. But I don't know how good they work, obviously, in Europe if you're tuning in from there. I know we got guys from Australia and New Zealand that like to tune into the show. So I'm not sure what they use, but here in the States, this is where I base it. And then I complete it with using my local weather channel. If it all matches up, you got to definitely use more than one source. So I hope that helps. Beer, drinks of choice, all that, man. It's up to you, dude. It's up to you. Just be careful down here in Texas, man. Stay hydrated. You don't want to you don't want to overdo it. You know what I mean? So I hope that answers your question. That's where I start. My planning is right there with weather. What reel and rod broke? Oh, do I have it in here? So he's referring to one of our latest episodes. If you guys are tuning in and have not seen our latest episode, it's the cobia episode, a 57-inch cobia that we caught right here off Corpus Christi, Texas coast, about a mile offshore, in and around some structure, oil platform structure. And if you saw that episode, the rod obviously broke. It was a Tsunami rod, the same rod that you guys see right here. These two are my Tsunami Trophy Series rods. These are the rods that I've taken and fished in Florida on the Atlantic coast and the Gulf Coast, both in Florida and here in Texas. I've used those everywhere. I've caught a lot of fish on them, big fish, small fish, good kings, and it finally just snapped on me with that cobia, man. It's one heck of a fight. What you're watching right here, I'm about to hook up. Actually, I'm already hooked up on this king, and that's actually that rod that actually broke. And, man, I dropped that reel. I dropped that line in, and it took off before I could even engage the drag. I don't know if y'all saw that, but y'all can always replay that. This is a really cool moment, and I'm about to actually fight this as I'm talking. You can watch this fight, and I'll show you guys a tail grab. You guys are used to seeing me gaff. Tail grabbing is something I do, but I don't readily do it. It's got to be the right circumstances. And one thing that I don't talk about too much as to why you don't see me tail grab on this kayak, it sits a little high on the water, and you got to sort of like really lean to sometimes grab. But if the fish is being dealt with, if it's behaving, and if it's not getting vertical on me, it's very easy to tail grab a fish. You'll see that right here as I'm talking. Let me answer some more questions here. So glad I could make it on the live for the first time. James Henderson, what's up, brother? We just answered your question, James. I know I'm kind of reading through these late. I don't know how long or if you saw that question. We answered your question. We discussed it a little bit. I gave you some food for thought, right? I'm not going to tell you what kayak to pick because there's some variables, but if you didn't catch the response, you can, once this is over, you can go back and rewind or whatever and catch that. I gave you a few things to kind of think about based off of what you're experiencing in your waters. I really like my Feel Free Lure 13.5. It's done everything I've asked it to do so far. The Lure Feel Free is a good kayak. It's a really good kayak, real stable kayak, built really well. But I've never really been on one. I've had friends paddle them before. I know a few of their staff members. Never really heard too many bad things. It's a great kayak. A little heavy. It's a little bit on the heavier side, but it's like anything else. As long as you keep your kayak within its means and the waters that it's designed for, can't go wrong, man. I've heard a lot of great things about the Feel Free kayaks. Texas Redfish Fanatic. Oh, wait, did I skip? Hang on here. I think I accidentally skipped some questions here. The pumpkin. That's Sal. Yeah, it's her pumpkin. Anybody rock a Vibe Shearwater yet? Empty Shell. So my tournament partner, Poco Cedeo, he is on a Vibe Shearwater. And you were asking, or you were stating, I'm thinking about giving it a go. But would like to hear some first-hand knowledge. I'll tell you what, Empty. Next week, we're planning on next Thursday, same time, we're going to be talking about nighttime fishing, nighttime kayak fishing, dock fishing, and particularly throwing and fishing on green lights. I've got a guy that we're going to be bringing on, good friend of mine. He does this a lot, and we're going to have a little discussion with him. I'm going to kind of pick his brain. It's something I want to do a little bit more. It's fun. It's easy to catch. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's just unique. It's unique. It's different, and you can get on a lot of fish at night on green lights. That being said, conditions, of course, got to be appropriate. But where I'm getting at is the following week, I need to reach out to Poco, and I want to talk to him about his experience on that Vibe Shearwater. But not only that, just kind of introduce him. He's got an interesting story, man. This is a guy who he was a shark fisherman, caught an amazing shark that was known worldwide. It was a huge hammerhead. I'll let him talk about that. That was land-based. And then, but before that, he was a guide. And here he is, so he's a guide on a boat. Then he goes to land-based, and now he's here in the kayak scene. And it's just kind of cool to hear that perspective. So that's something that, stick around, that might be out here in a few weeks. And hopefully we can answer some good questions. Keep an eye on our live stories. And whenever I throw the AMA on it, definitely ask whatever questions so we can get to those first whenever we cover that subject. Richard Sanchez says, almost got the Predator, but was out of my price range. I got a Saku Zulu, and that kayak rocks. Yeah, man. I mean, whatever kayak works, dude. There is a kayak out there for everybody. I would love to tell you guys, hey, go to ACK, check out all those kayaks, right? But if there's a kayak there or any kayak there that just isn't for you, then I'm going to tell you, go somewhere where you can get into the sport within your own means, if that means financially or the type of kayak, something that's going to get you on the water, something that's going to let you get a good taste of it. But at the same time, don't go too cheap, but at the same time, do some research. Like, the industry is so healthy right now. You can get some pretty good used kayaks that would typically be like at $1,000 range, and some of them are being sold for $400-500, especially on Facebook Marketplace. Do a lot of research. Like, make sure that you're going to have a first time enjoyable experience. I know a lot of guys who have been turned off from the sport, who have gotten into a kayak and it's welded and they didn't know it and they end up sinking, and then I'm never going to do this again. And it sucks, because I know them, and they probably would have still been here paddling today had they not gone through that experience. So I agree with you, man. Whatever is in your budget, find the best kayak you can get within your budget. And you picked a Zulu. The Kaku are very good kayaks, man. Very good kayaks. What's up, Yasin? Texas Redfish Fanatic says, if I get in water too skinny for the pedal, I just lift yeah, exactly. It's as simple as that, man. We have so many options nowadays. Even in that was the whole big, the industry's gone through these 3 different sort of phases or revolutionary phases where, we all started off in a paddle, and for the longest time that was it. Then we go into the pedal industry, and the longest time that was it, right? But that's cream of the crop, and now we're going into this hybrid motorization stage, and this is where we're at today, right? And when we're in that middle stage, it was always, well, I'm going to stick, the purist would say, I'm going to stick with the paddle. I was a purist, by the way. I still kind of am. I actually still enjoy paddling a little bit more than I do pedaling, but I still do pedal because I do see the advantages. But as far as like fun factor and just challenging and how you fight fish differently, I love to still be on the paddle. But that's another topic. Nowadays, it's just too easy to go and transition real quick from your drive to paddling. You just got to accept that, right? And the PDLs do that real well. They're all on a swivel. So you can go from drive once you hit structure underneath or bottom, lift it up, get your paddle, and go about your business. Let's see what else we got here. Dope Studio. Oh, thanks, man. Y'all saying, yeah, man. So this is the studio, dude. We're in October. Figured I'd whip out the pumpkin. We've got. I wish you guys could see the others. Like, I'll put up a screen so you guys can see what it looks like. I've got multiple screens. We've got posters, magazines, drones. There's a big check right here. There's offshore trophies, inshore trophies. Just stuff that I've been able to accomplish in the last few years. I didn't, I've always obviously been on a kayak fishing when I started quite a bit ago, but 2 years ago I sort of made a little announcement that I would start tournament fishing. So in the last 2 years, that's what I've been doing, and these are some of the results of it. Been able to do some awesome stuff, write about it, some stuff that I probably would have never even believed I would have done had I come back to the future and said, hey, you're going to get this, So I'm very fortunate to have been able to do a few things in a very little tournament career, and I'm still having fun with it, man. Actually, we have a tournament this week, the Fanatic tournament. If you guys are from San Antonio and you guys want to come into Corpus, the Fanatic guys that usually have their Lake Calaveras tournament are coming down here. It's a 2 trout, 1 redfish stringer. I'll be there. If you guys don't have anything to do on the weekend, it's going to be on a Saturday. It's going to be a beautiful day, dude. Come out and see us, man. Let me go down on these other questions here. I got a message from Robert too. LOL, unfortunately, I can't make it out this weekend. It's all right, man. There's plenty of tournaments coming up. John Vasquez, how you doing, man? James says, I appreciate you answering my question. I'll be pulling the trigger soon on the Predator or the Outback soon. Hopefully I can demo them. Yes. And James, since you're from Houston, contact ACK. They're getting ready to do a demo, but I don't know all the details of it. But they just, if you go on their Facebook page, because I just talked about it, you can tell them, you can sort of like do a little, you can reserve it, and she'll be like, hey, this is James. I am wanting to try out the Predator and the Outback. Are you guys going to have it there? And they'll let you know. And that'll give you a perfect opportunity to try, because I can tell you all the goods and bads about all these kayaks, right? But it's really not until you get on them. I always try and encourage try before you buy, and so does a lot of people within the industry. And I'm a strong believer in that and always will be. So definitely try these kayaks before you actually invest into them. Windfinder looks awesome. I will check it out. Yeah, man, definitely check it out. Windfinder takes into the account the troughs and the crest of waves if you decide to do offshore. Just FYI, Magic Seaweed doesn't. I've learned that it doesn't, and it gives you a false reading on swells for you offshore guys. Yeah, Richard, definitely look into that app. It's a good app. You going out to the Bro Staff meeting next month? Man, dude, so I would, but it so happens to be that Bro Staff meeting is on my birthday, and me and my wife might be flying out, possibly, to maybe somewhere, I don't know, Colorado, just kind of get away, go feed some deer, maybe pop a few. Just joking. Do you ever anchor down with an anchor or power pole? Richard, I don't, man. I don't. You'll never see me really anchor down. How about that? You'll never see me anchor down. Well, I'm going to take that back. I have anchored down, but hardly will you ever see me anchor down. I like to fish with the wind. I drift a lot. I move around a lot. If you are the type of angler that just likes to kind of sit and chill and work an area for a while, you probably won't enjoy fishing with me. I'm somebody who's constantly moving. I hardly ever stop. And if I do stop, it's for a reason. But I'm maybe never stopping for any more than 5 minutes. That's a long time, for me at least. So I'm always on the move. I always play off the wind. I like to set drifts. One of the unique things that I enjoy, so you guys know that I do work with Bixby, right? The kayak motorized jet propulsion system. I've learned to use that thing sort of as an anchor. It's not like a stop lock, right? Like the Minn Kota motors. But I've been able to strategically know how the wind is going to bounce or play off my kayak, so I know how to position it against or with the wind to where I'm getting the most out of my drifts. And on a super low speed, and if I'm battling 15-mile-an-hour winds, I can position it almost to where I have a drift sock, and I'm getting quality drifts instead of speeding drifts, and I'm just burning shoreline and possibly missing fish. So that's what I've learned to do with Bixby. If I'm in a drive, if I'm in the PDL drive, what I'll tend to do if I'm in super skinny water, which I'm always in, I usually can't use that drive, so I will actually use the drive as a little bit of an anchor. That's kind of the cool thing about it. Full Armor Bassin, my brother, so good to see you. God bless you, buddy. Bless you, man. If you guys want to see some really cool, fun, amazing content, go check out Full Armor Bassin. He's got some great footage, man. Him and his sons, man, just a great, like, there's people that you just enjoy watching, right? It doesn't matter what it is. Like, he just has this personality, and I don't care if this guy's catching a bass the size of my pinky. Like, he's just a super fun guy to watch. Big shout out to him. Slot City Fishing as well, man. Slot City has come a long way, dude. And he's got some amazing content also. He travels. He used to live here in Corpus, actually. Now he's in the East Coast. He's a pilot. Shout out to those two guys, man. Check them out. Oklahoma's worst angler. Hey, what's up with that name, dude? Throw yourself a bone here. He says, I'm thinking of downsizing from the Pursuit to the Sportsman 106. Thoughts or opinions? I think Pursuit, that's the new canoe. Sportsman 106, it just depends on what you're looking for, man. The Sportsman 106, it's a 10-foot kayak. It's not very long. But if you're a compact fisherman and you want something nimble with quick turns, just very simple, nothing to it, you're not looking to like load up things up the wazoo. I don't know if the Pursuit has a drive. I feel like the Sportsman 10.6 is going to have superiority over the Pursuit, but I don't know enough about the Pursuit. I think that's the one with the drive, but I don't know a lot about it. So I'm being biased, obviously. But I would say if you're okay with I don't know what the size of that Pursuit. Like I don't know how you're comparing those two as far as what you want out of size. Just know that Sportsman 10.6, great boat, but not the longest boat. Just FYI. But at a great price point. Alex, you're watching the right guy here, buddy. I appreciate that, fool. You're right. Fab. That's smart with the PDL idea. Yeah, Richard, that's what I've learned to do there with that PDL is to anchor down. Armor, yeah, brother, no problem. Mark's, whoa. Okay, here we go. Mark Celadon. Oh, so Mark says, are you ready for that corky thump? If you guys have been following this show a lot, you know that we transition we don't stop fishing. I don't stop fishing. I literally, for the past couple of years, I've taken you guys through every season. You see how everything changes from offshore to inshore reds to bull reds, which you're about to get a 2-part series on this one right here. You guys are going to see a 48 and a 45-inch bull red in the marsh. You're going to get to see some good trout. And then once that's out, we go into winter fishing, which is completely different. And like I said, for those of you guys who have followed me for these past few years, we haven't had a tournament series since, no momento. Oh, okay, there it goes. Let me let this reconnect real quick. Okay, there we go. We haven't had a tournament series since spring, when me and my partner won. We won first place, South Texas Winter Classic Trout Tournament. So it's been a while since we have had a tournament series episode, but that's the next one. So that's how the show goes, right? So we go behind the scenes, which is. Am I losing connection? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. We go behind the scenes, which is a vlog.